guys, welcome to another tidbit for millennial pocket watching. It's me, and so today I'm gonna go over my 2021 budget when I only made 39K a year. So the average man makes about that much. So we're gonna break it down back to there. So my take-home income for December 2021 was 1982.11. So I only made not just shy of $2,000 a month. And with that $2,000 a month, I paid my mortgage, my water, my electric, my sewer, my car insurance, my cell phone, my groceries, all that. I lived on less than $2,000 a month, and I made it work. And you can too. And I was not stressed. I was really happy. I was content with my life. I wasn't out. I mean, I kind of was out there balling, but that year I sat down in 2022. But that was like another life change that I decided to do. But that's another story for another day. Anyway, so I'm just gonna kind of show you or go through my budget for December of 2021. So with my just shy of $2,000 a month, I actually sat down prior to me doing any of this, like buying the house, having these expenses. Sat down and looked at my budget, and my mortgage cost is actually would end up being 35% of my take-home income, which is fine. I wasn't expecting to be like super, like the cost of living to be super bad. Like at that point I hadn't had any children living under my household. I didn't have to worry about increased groceries. But shortly later that month, I did end up getting my first foster child, and that was an increased expense across the board for the house. But I also received a stipend, but that was in 2022. We still talking about 2021. I was single, solo, dolo, and doing it myself. All right. So off rip, I would budget how much I expect my bills to be, and then I would compare what the final shakedown was. I feel like the first step in really taking control of your finances is acknowledging, one, that there are bills to pay, looking at the numbers. This is for y'all who don't do that. The first thing you gotta do is see how much you owe, guys. It's you can't tuck your head in the sand, and you have to plan. And I promise you, just knowing and being able to plan for it, it makes life so less stressful. It really is. It's on autopilot at that point, and that's just one thing you don't have to think about. It's nice. It's nice to have a budget. So I would sit down and I would always overestimate my budget in the event that something did come high one month. And I hadn't been in the house for very long. I think I had been in the house at this point for like maybe 2-3 months. So I kind of had a handle on what my bills kind of looked like now that I had already paid off all the, starter installment fees, all those fees that hit you, bam, 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 deposits. You're like, oh, that first time you open stuff, after those have settled down. This is kind of what it boiled down to. With the minus my sewer, so they want you to have like 90 days of actual like water usage prior to them prorating your sewer amount, and my sewer bill came down quite a bit. But what they didn't tell me was that you had to call and ask them to do that, because they won't do it automatically. So maybe you guys should ask, if you haven't. Life hack, ask to see if your bills can be prorated, especially if they kind of flat rated you until you have like a more common thing, because not all companies will go out of their way to lose money sometimes. So just saying. But anyway, so basically I even budgeted for my sinking funds as well. So I knew how much money I wanted to put into my sinking funds, and I set that on auto. So as soon as my check cleared, or before my check cleared, that money had already gone into the pot. And so I didn't have to think about it. I didn't have to consciously do it. So that's something I always recommend, at least within your own bank account, not like your bills, because if you're not about that life, that's fine. But at least within your own bank account, you should set certain saving things on auto, and then definitely have it either come out the day before or the day of your direct deposit. And you don't see it, it don't see you. You don't see it, and so it gets auto saved, because I know a lot of people are tempted to see that money and then they're like, oh, I got this much money to spend. And for me, I had like I think I had like 3 separate bank accounts. So like my food money went directly to another card. Like it was on another bank, in another card. My bigger savings account for my emergency fund, at that point I had already finished my emergency fund, so I wasn't contributing to it regularly anymore. But that also was a sinking fund, if you will, and that went into a separate bank account that I did not see, always checked, but did not see daily. And then I have this main account where all the money goes in and out of. And so you don't see it, but it's there, and you know it's there in the back of your head, but you don't see it, so you don't spend it. So again, know yourself, know your kind of spending mentality. And so my sinking fund, a lot of my sinking funds were actually in my main account. I just used them as I needed them. Even like when I would sit down to go plan a spontaneous trip, I go check how much money I had in my play money account, and then see if that, sorry, it's my dog. And then see if the math adds. And if the math don't add, it's okay. It was the end of the month. When the math start adding, we catching flights, not feelings, okay? So yeah. So at the end of the day, even with my credit cards, like I would budget a certain amount every month. Did I go over that budget? Yes. Yes, I did. Because I'm an American, okay? America. And usually when I go over that budget is because I did something or put something on that card that usually comes out of my sinking fund. So it is what it is. But I tried really hard to stay within that budget, but I probably should have been more realistic about what I should have been budgeting for my credit cards, because 9 times out of 10, they definitely came out higher than they should have, but whatever. I was still green at the end of the month, and that's all that matters. So that said, I knew what my exact bills were, and then I would just budget a little bit more for them. And as long as they came in under what my take-home income was, we were Gucci. And I included my sinking funds in that budget, and we were Gucci. And usually I would come out with like $200-ish a month in slush, and I would still hold that in my main account as a buffer for like anything that I may or may not have needed. So like at some point I got a dog, and I had not planned or prepared for an animal. Just one day I ended up getting a dog, because I'm impulsive sometimes when it comes to critters. If you know me, you know me. I be having a whole bunch of animals in my house. So it is like that for me. So I got a dog, and dogs have needs like vet bills and crates for like $200, and finding fees and toys and all that stuff. That stuff adds. So that's what I kind of used some of that slush money for that. But I had it, so it's okay. And I think that's where I'm gonna end this series for now. And then we will talk about retirement. Yes, because that also came out of my check. So stay tuned for that.